The first thing I want you to work on right now is the warm-up. So go ahead and hit pause at this point and complete the warm-up problems. I will now explain the warm-up problems. The first problem has like bases. Both are x's. We're multiplying them together. So what we do here is we do 2 plus 3 and we get x to the 5th. This rule, along with our second problem, are really going to guide us today, and they're going to be the part that we're really going to have to remember. One thing to remember is if this, on problem number 2, if this does not have an exponent there, it's an understood 1. So at this point we have m to the 1 plus 2, and we get m to the 3rd. So we just add these two exponents together if we have the same base m, and we're multiplying the two terms together. The last one is the distributive property. The distributive property says if we're multiplying this 5 by the entire parenthesis, we have to distribute it to everything inside. So we're going to have 5 times 4. We're going to bring this sign down. The plus is going to come down. And then we're going to have 5 times c. So 5 times 4 is 20. And 5 times c is 5c. And that would be our final solution on that problem. How this is going to work today is I'm going to do an example in the left column. So example 1, I'm going to do this portion. And then we're going to hit pause, and you're going to complete the second one on your own. And then I will check your answer for you. So our first problem is g times g plus 1. So what we're going to do here is we're going to distribute this, because again the g is being multiplied by the entire parenthesis. So we have g times g. And then we have plus g times 1. So I've just distributed it. At this point, we have exponents of 1. They are understood ones. We have 1 plus 1 is 2. G times g is g squared. And then we have plus just g. I want you to go ahead and hit pause now and complete the example in the right column. Okay, the example on the right, we have x times x, which is, I'm just going to write out like this. We bring down the subtraction, and then we have x times 6, which is 6x. So here we have 1s, and we add the 1s together, so we get x squared minus 6x. So hopefully you got that problem right. As we move on, if you did not get that problem right, go ahead and take a look at my work and see how it compares to your work and how you could do this differently. Example 2, it's a similar concept. G squared is being multiplied by this entire parenthesis. So that means it's going to be multiplied in. So we have g squared times g squared. And then our second one that we multiply it by is, and it's positive g squared times g. And our final one would be minus g squared times 1. And now all we need to do is simplify. So we have 2 plus 2 is 4, so g to the 4th. We have an understood 1 here, so we have 2 plus 1 is 3, so it's g to the 3rd. And then we have minus g squared. I want you to go ahead and hit pause now and complete the example in the right column. When you've completed it, go ahead and press play. On this example, we should have x to the 3rd times x squared. It should be plus 3x times x to the 3rd, and it should be plus 6x to the 3rd. So when we do this, we have like basis. We have x to the 5th, and then we have 3x, and all of these are multiplying, so we have a 3x to the 4th, and then plus 6x to the 3rd. So again, it's my hope that you could do that problem on your own after seeing the example on 2. The next example. So we can have, on the previous examples we had like g squared multiplied in. So this number outside the parenthesis can be a number. or a letter, or a combination of both. So on example 3, we're going to see it as a number. On example 4, we're going to see it as a combination. We still treat it the same way. It still multiplies in. So we have 7 times 6x squared. And then the next term is plus 7 times 9xy. And then the final is 7 times 10y squared. At this point, we always want to simplify things down. So 7 times 6 is 42, x squared. 7 times 9 is 63. X and y we cannot do anything with. They're still multiplied together. And then we have 70 y squared. Again, I want you to hit pause and I want you to complete the next example on your own. This is what your answer should be for this problem. And again, if it was not, go ahead and double check that you did it just like you did example 3. And find your error if you did not get this problem correct. The final example is going to have a 5g, and it's multiplied by this entire parenthesis as well. Again, we're going to distribute it in. So we have 5g times g squared. And then we have 5g times 5g. And finally, we have minus 5g times 1. So simplifying this down, we have 5g to the third plus 25g. Remember, these are understood 1, so we add them together, we get 2. And then we have minus 5g. And again, I want you to go ahead and complete the next example problem on your own. So go ahead and hit pause at this point and come back to it when you have finished. Here's what your solution should look like. Again, if you did not get this, make sure that you do review example 4 and you see exactly where you made your error. At this point, I want you to turn your paper over. We're going to add one more problem to your notes. This is the last example that I want you to add to your notes. So go ahead and write it down really quickly and we'll move on from there. So when we're doing this problem, 2x is being multiplied by the entire parenthesis. So that means it's still distributed, so we follow similar steps that we did last time. So we have 2x times x, and then we also have it's plus 2x times y. So when we add these two exponents together, we get 2x squared, and then on this right side, it's 2 times x times y. If we have x times y, we cannot do anything with that, but we still have to show that they're multiplied together. So we're just going to leave those as xy's. And you're going to see this on your homework problems. So make sure that you do have this example down and that you do understand how we're going to show that these are multiplied together. At this point, you should be finishing the notes, and then you should be getting the worksheet ready to work. I do want you to work individually on this. And if you have questions, you can always check with somebody next to you, but I do want you to stay in your normal seats at this point. Thank you, and I hope you're enjoying your day.